Hello, and welcome to another victory stream. Victory Wednesday. Young Guns podcast. The New York Giants get the victory against the Washington Commanders. No matter how bad we are, there are three things you can be certain of in this life: it's death, taxes, and the Giants dominating Washington. No matter what their name is. No matter what, it doesn't matter what your name is. Shout out to wrestling fans out there. What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Young Guns podcast. Very excited to get into this. I would have loved to go all out for this stream as I was planning to do. Power went out. Don't know what it is. I don't know if any of you guys live in Florida. I think I'm probably the only one that usually is on these streams that live in Florida. But Duke Energy is probably the worst electric company ever. Had a random power outage, and
what kind of name is that even, bro?
Duke Energy. Yeah, I know, right? It sounds like
what?
Stupid.
The basketball team? The school?
Stupid, bro. But it's yeah. So I just got my power back like an hour ago, so I only had time to make the stream and make the thumbnail. So, Kush, what's up, bro? What's going on? How you feeling?
Man, what a great start to the week 1 of the NFL season this past Sunday was, man. It was incredible. Coming into the season, right? Off the preseason, we weren't looking too good. When the season home opener, we got it done against somebody that just historically we just own, man. Like at this point, they need to change the Wikipedia page of the Commanders to say owners, not Magic Johnson and whatever group owns them, but John Mara and Steve Tisch or something, bro. But it's good, man. The Knicks are on right now for their season opener, also home opener. I mean, they're knock on wood, they're currently leading. Like, let's see if we could get 2 New York wins in the same week, man.
Oh, that would be great. You remember when last year, it was last year, right? Where the Knicks and Giants were winning. Was it last year? Was the Knicks good last year? Can't remember.
The Knicks, yeah, they were good last year, and they were in the playoffs. They made the second round.
I thought the future was bright, man. I thought the future was bright, and it wasn't bright.
Hey, man, it still is bright, man. How many people we got in here right now, real quick?
60, but they're coming in. It just jumped from
shout out to everybody. First of all, shout out to Daniel Berry. Shout out to Logan. You're not wrong, Logan. Guys, make sure as you come in, you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Most importantly, hit that share button. I hope there's no DJ fans in here because the future is still bright, KB. All we need is another, it's another person right there. Have you seen? We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, we are talk about it.
You see how Tyrod Taylor performed with a bad O-line? All of a sudden, this O-line that was too bad for Daniel Jones stands were like, oh yeah, they performed better. They gave up 4 sacks still.
They still gave up 4 sacks.
Like, what are we talking about right now? Like, it comes down to, not necessarily Tyrod being a better QB. It's just being more decisive and knowing how to handle the pocket better. And we'll get into that. That's been a topic, or not a topic, a talking point that me and you have beaten to death at this point, like for 3-4 straight weeks.
Well, and I think, listen, as much as we wanted to acknowledge it, and I don't know how long we'll talk about DJ and Tyrod, but it's definitely a topic that needs to be talked about because as long as Tyrod is starting, obviously everybody's going to be comparing these two until they're both off the team, quite frankly, to be honest with you. So, and it's not even, and Bobby Skinner said it so perfectly on Twitter and in his, the Talking Giants mailbag that was posted up today. I don't remember word for word exactly what he said, but he said this is not a controversy between two quarterbacks. This is a controversy between Daniel Jones and a rookie quarterback, and the Giants drafting a quarterback. I think that he said it so perfectly well, and I'm so mad at myself for not remembering what he said. But he was saying, like, listen, the whole controversy that's going on, it's not Daniel Jones versus Tyrod Taylor as much as we look at it like that. And to be honest, I think Tyrod Taylor is the key to us figuring this out. If the Giants need a new quarterback, because I think everybody, 100% of Giants fans know that Tyrod Taylor is not going to be part of the future moving forward. Yeah. But
he's not even part of the next couple of weeks, guys. Let's be real. They're paying the guy like 120 million, 140 million, and the guaranteed is, what was it, like 80 guaranteed or something like that?
82 million guaranteed, which the guaranteed money isn't even that big for that contract, but it is a lot of money.
But he's getting paid for the next 2 years at the very least, dog. He's starting these games, yo.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, even if the Giants were in a situation where they draft a quarterback in this upcoming draft, like Daniel Jones is still going to be the starter. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But like I said, I think, well, I know Tyrod Taylor is the key to us figuring that out. Well, not us
And you
particularly.
know, shout out to Bob because he's right, bro. Because the only reason people are angry when fans say Tyrod is better is because they know what that means for the future.
Exactly, exactly. And to be honest with you, like the DJ truthers out there, and I'm trying to be softer. Guys, you guys know that I get attacked by both sides, okay? The DJ truthers and the DJ haters out there, okay? But lately, the DJ haters have been kind of, I guess, because they've been proven right. They're kind of like they are bragging a little bit, but they're almost like kind of humble about it. But the DJ truthers will attack you if you say anything outlandish or anything even criticizing Daniel Jones. Um, but you guys, the truthers out there, if you guys are listening, whether live or in, after the show is over and you guys are watching in the post live stream or however the hell you call it, but you have to acknowledge that Tyrod Taylor is working better right now, just working better in this offense right now, and you have to be sort of, I guess, aware as a Giants fan that listen, $40 million, although the cap is going up, $40 million is not a cheap chunk of change for your cap, man. You can do a lot with that money. One is upgrading the offensive line. Like the Giants could have, Kush, the Giants really, with hindsight being 2020, because I wanted Daniel Jones back. For instance, didn't want him on that contract, but I did want him back. I won't speak for you, but I wanted him back. So hindsight is 2020 when I say this. I'm not saying like, the Giants made a wrong decision here, but it's something they have to learn from. They could have really went into the season with Tyrod Taylor as the quarterback, get yourself another decent backup because Tyrod does get hurt. Get yourself another decent backup and use that money you were going to spend on Daniel Jones and upgrade the offensive line. You could have then had a foundation, which you already do with Andrew Thomas, right? Andrew Thomas, JMS, you already have a foundation there to build an offensive line and use Tyrod Taylor as a bridge quarterback and then eventually bring another one in here in the draft if you were going to be bad. Like, I think the Giants being successful in 2022 actually, I think, screwed them in the future. And it's crazy to say it because we were in that middle. That's one of the scariest things in the NFL, being an NFL team. Think about the Titans for years, right? They used to be bad, like 2014. Then they got Marcus Mariota, and then from there on, they were kind of a mediocre team sitting in the middle, right? And that is probably the worst place to be as an NFL team or any sports team for that matter, but mostly the NFL because you're picking in the middle of the draft, right? You don't have the top pick, but yet you're not as successful to really draft, I guess, not top 10 talent, but still be a mediocre team and just never progressing from there. You have to really rely on coaching and the guys you already have to develop and play better. And the Giants were kind of in that. Like we went above and beyond what the expectations were. I don't think a lot of people really expected. When we did the schedule predictions stuff like that, we were like, okay, this might be a 9-win team because of the schedule, right? But the Giants actually look like they can be something the next year. So they went on and got Darren Waller. They went all out. They went on and got Darren Waller. They got Jalen Hyatt. They upgraded some pieces in the wide receivers. They got a linebacker upgrade. So they really were like, yo, let's go for this. Let's try to win. And the roster clearly is not ready to do that. And although we're fighting, we're backs against the wall, we're fighting, kicking and screaming, but this team is just still not good yet. So, I mean, interested to get your thoughts on that. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what what else to say there, but the Giants really, I feel like the Giants really screwed themselves in 2022. I love the season, I love the magical season we had, but we're kind of paying for it now.
It's not that we're paying for the magical season. It's exactly what Ash said when he came on. That one episode of the stream that you couldn't make it, and I streamed with Ash. And he said this, and he's been saying it like all off season long because he's always been very, very skeptical, not
Mhm.
only about DJ but about the team in general. He said every time the Giants see success or something that even resembles success, they buy all in and they try to go full send instead of continue building and taking it one step at a time. That's what we're paying for, KB. We're not paying because we overachieved. We're paying because they made the same mistake they made in the 2017 offseason and the 2020 offseason.
Mhm.
2017, obviously, coming off of the great 2016 year where everybody was like, okay, we
Yeah.
need to fix that O line. No,
Yeah.
because Eli had the fastest time to throw from the pocket by far in the NFL in 2016. And that was low key the only reason that offense worked. If he
Eli.
didn't do that,
Yeah.
basically it would have been 2017 and 2016. And they didn't fix the O line. They just went more towards offensive weapons. You know, Brandon Marshall, Evan Ingram being the draft pick and all that. Completely ignored the O line. In 2020, that's why I said resemblance is success. Yeah, we were a 6-win team, but we were like one game out of the playoffs. Remember that. That was a successful season, and fans are not about to change the tune because we looked like the fool with good reason that offseason
We did, man. Holy
because we were the
crap.
only fan base cheering for a team that had a losing record,
Bro, we
saying that,
really
yo, we're
thought,
one of the better teams. And what did
bro.
they do, KB?
Yeah.
They did try to address the O line
Go
once again.
all
They
in.
went full send all in on offense with the weapons. And it didn't work out, man. Same thing this offseason. And the thing is with this offseason, I can't say they didn't address the O line at all because they did. They did everything correctly this offseason, even signing Daniel Jones, even though it's not working out right now. They did everything correctly. That's just the fact.
Mm.
In the moment, they did everything correctly. Your quarterback just showed out and did exactly what you needed him to do in order for you to give him an extension. So you give
Mhm.
him an extension. Your running back who came back and had basically the best career of his year. I know people would argue the rookie year, but I would say this one, because of the impact it had, which helped led to a winning season and playoff run, I would definitely say 2022 was Saquon's best year of his career. But you know of his injury history and you know of the history of the running back position. You're like, I'm just gonna tag you. They did address the O line, KB. That's the crazy part. They went out and got exactly what we thought we needed at the time, just a center, because we were hoping Evan Neal
Right.
would
Take a
be
step
Evan
forward.
Neal from college, and obviously that hasn't worked out. They did what they needed to on the defense, and even though it didn't show for like the first 2-3 weeks, it's completely showed since. And as the title says, they were the reason we won this game. Guess what? Everything on the defensive side of the ball is working out just fine. It's working out just fine, and even more because Deontay Banks or Tate Banks already looks like the best corner on this team. And that's not necessarily easy because Adoree Jackson is still a really good corner in the NFL. But we already have our number one corner of the future. You know what I'm saying? And we'll get into Kayvon Thibodeau and stuff that happened today.
Oh yeah.
We'll get into the linebackers like we did last week. We have a, knock on wood, 2-star linebackers for the future. It's just that the most important part of the team didn't work out. Uh or two of the most important parts of the team didn't work out. First, the O-line, it got worse, which people don't want to admit. Some fans don't want to admit that the O-line got worse, but it did. And with that, we have a quarterback that seems to have PTSD, that seems like he's having war flashbacks because with the regression of the O-line, he's performing like it's 2020. He's performing like it's 2021. He's performing like is the worst part of his career. And I see a certain Giants fan in the chat that's very much a Daniel Jones stan, not a Giants fan, because I agree with you. Here's the thing. Big Blue 831 and any other Giants, not Giants fan, Daniel Jones standing here. I agree with you. The reason Daniel Jones has happy feet and he's not reading his throws, he's not reading his receivers properly, he's not weighing the pocket, is because he's punch drunk, is because he's scared of getting hit. But guess what? We can't pay somebody to be that. Now
Yeah.
we paid him before we realized that. And in all complete fairness, like I said, that was the right decision at the time. Daniel Jones actually did not show signs of being that, KB. That was the crazy part. Up
Right.
until
Right.
2022, he really didn't show
He looked
signs of
very
it.
poised in the pocket, very
He
calm.
still
Yeah.
looked poised. It's not like it was his rookie year where he would throw a ball and take the hit. He made smarter decisions for himself,
Mhm.
but he never showed being like a 2018 Eli, like a 2017 Eli.
That's crazy.
He
Through
and
5
that's what
years of his
doesn't
career, he looks like that.
yeah, that's what doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, there has to be something else. Maybe there isn't. Maybe it's just as simple as that. For some reason, now that the O-line regressed back, he's become somebody that we haven't seen before from him. We've seen bad quarterback play from Daniel Jones. We haven't seen him just completely collapse in on himself and be a bad quarterback in almost every sense of the word. And then on top of that, there's obviously some type of confidence issue there. You can't
Yeah.
tell me there's not some type of confidence issue there. The problem is, guys, is while the Giants caused that, very much as John Mara can be a really bad owner at times, and as much as this quote God brings up, I hate how much it gets brought up. I really do, but it is a factual quote that he ruined Daniel Jones. They didn't do anything to help him. You can't have him being paid this money and at the same time have him be what is a problem. You know what I'm saying? And that is
Yeah.
part of the overall problem. We're not
It,
going to get into the whole thing again, KB, where we describe literally, if you guys want to know the entire problem we talked about, it was last week's podcast and it was the weeks before podcast,
mhm.
talking about everything from coaching to personnel to quarterback to special teams, everything that is wrong with this team. But go ahead, KB.
Yeah. You know, kind of talk about the front office a little bit. One thing I did notice as you were talking about, the prior years, if you really notice it, this has to be an owner's problem too, because if you look at all three GM regimes, it seems like they went full send right after a decent season, right? 2016 was Jerry Reese. That was like, oh my god, Jerry Reese is back. Like he like Jerry Reese is probably like, oh, we're back. And John Mara's like, send it. Like we're going all championship right now. We're trying to get back to the glory days, you know. And after 2016 happened, they went like I guess all in, but not even all in because they already spent the money in 2016, and then they just laid an egg. And then if you look at 2020, I don't know why we went all in that year. You are absolutely, bro. You just opened up my eyes, like, bro. We were all like on YouTube, especially like we were like 6-10. What? We're going to the playoffs next season. Like, then we got like, well, we thought we were a Kenny Galladay away, bro. Can you believe that? We thought we were a Kenny Galladay away from getting to a playoff berth at 6-10, and that because we were so we felt like we were so close because all the Eagles needed to do was lose to Washington, right? And they would have wait. I think all they needed to was beat Washington. They just needed to beat Washington, and then the Giants would have been in the playoffs. And
Yeah.
we just felt like next year is our year. Man, that's just ugh, ugh. But now in 2022, where we have a probably the best year we've had since 2016, obviously the best year we've had since 2016. Um, arguably, that's a good question. How do you feel about 2016 versus 2022? Which year do you feel like was better?
Oh,
Like
it has to be 2022.
I
It
was gonna
has to
agree
be
with you. Yeah.
2022. Not only, first of all, did we actually win a playoff game, but I
Mhm.
think we were a better team overall as well.
Yeah.
From a talent standpoint and just overall speaking, uh, the O line was not this bad in 2022.
Right.
And that's so funny because it wasn't that bad. It was bad in 2016, but Eli obviously had to get the ball out the pocket quicker. But I also think there were certain things on the 2016 team that were fugazi, that were just kind of fake. Like we had a fake offense. It was Odell or bust. You could
Right.
you
No
could
running
kind of
game.
argue that for 2022 in the sense of it was Saquon or bust, but we saw in the second half of the season, Daniel actually started playing, which is the reason he earned that contract, which I will never not say he did earn that contract. It was the right decision at the time. He started playing like a franchise quarterback in the second half of that season. And then with our defense, I just believe in our defense more. I know that in 2016, technically we had like a number one ranked defense for some time, but it was all JPP, bro.
Yeah, it was like top five, top
It
two.
was all JPP and all why am I
Janoris
forgetting his
Jenkins,
name? Janoris Jenkins and Landon
Olivier
Collins,
Vernon. Landon
right?
Collins, Olivier
We
Vernon, yeah.
had a much more rounded defense. I would just go with 2022 more. That's just me.
I was gonna say the same thing because even though we won 11 games in 2016, like I said, like we argued about this in what was it, week 2? Like 2017, I really didn't expect much out of it, but 2022, this year, I think we all agreed like we're looking playoffs. And to be honest, bro, what's crazy? You look at this team on paper and you're like, this is not a bad team, bro. This team can take you places. And just everything that could go wrong went wrong. Like obviously we still felt like the offensive line was an issue, right? But we're like, but teams are able to move past that. Teams are able to survive in the meantime but it seems like the Giants can't go anywhere without like actually paying attention to the offensive line. And to be fair to Joe Shane, he addressed offensive line. It's just these guys are not working out, right? Josh is
But also, it's also to be fair to Joe Shane, he's not getting on Brian Dable to fire the guy that's probably the reason these guys aren't working out.
yeah, yeah,
Which is, what's his name? I don't even want to say his name.
yeah.
Mario.
And Evan Neal is looking like well he right now he's a bust. Right now Evan Neal is a bust. And Josh Azudu, he's never able to actually play the position he's supposed to play, and when he does, he just isn't that great. We have a 5th round pick in Marcus McKeithen who's garbage. So like yeah, we have Mark Lewinsky who was what paid how much $1 million a year, like $11 million a year, 10 $11 million a year to play like ass and then be like some veteran presence. That's an overpay. And so, well, that was a Dave Gettleman thing, but we have him on the roster. One thing I did want to say though, as Abrar says, the Knicks lost.
Yeah, unfortunately, they choked.
Damn,
They choked.
that's New York fashion right there. That's
Yeah.
classic New York right there. But I want to, and this was confusing me, and this is why I want to like open up some kind of conversation here. It's confusing me. If John Mara, and I know there's a Twitter controversy, especially from like the DJ skeptic side, like I guess conspirizing that John Mara is like getting his news reporters out there and he wanted Daniel Jones. Apparently, nobody has a source for this, but everybody says it like it's true that John Mara was the one that got Daniel Jones a contract, and Daniel Jones made the call to John Mara last minute. Bro, they're talking about it like it's true. Like, and I'll even shout them out because they're my boys. But Ash, Sal, who is not a content creator, but I swear is a content creator, because he has a podcast now. All these guys, bro, I want to know where you guys' sources are saying that John Mayer is the one that got Daniel Jones the contract. Hey, bro, you got it. It's Joe Shane, bro. And I'm not saying it's Joe Shane's fault. Like, you even said it. He deserved another contract. He was playing like he could be a franchise quarterback, and they took a chance on him. But one thing I want to say is that I really don't think John Mara is really like that much gung ho for Daniel Jones, because he would have not only got Daniel Jones signed, he would have made sure the offensive line was protecting Daniel Jones. He would have made sure the offensive line is okay. Bro, this offensive line, if there's one thing that I didn't like going into the season, is like, bro, what did we do on the offensive line? Nothing. We had no depth at all. We were going into this game, into the season with 3 tackles on the roster, and they consist of Andrew Thomas, this is fantastic, Evan Neal, and Matt Parrott. Those were our 3 tackles. Like, we didn't have any good swing. Bro, Matt Parrott can't even see himself out to a field. Okay, Matt Parrott is used as 6 offensive lineman when they went to heavy sets. Josh Azudu, a freaking guard, was playing tackle, man, over Matt Parrott. I mean, it's ridiculous. So that's one thing that confuses me, because I know that John Mara does have a liking of Daniel Jones. I think because he really reminds me of Eli Manning, and he reminds me of Eli too with his mannerisms. But like, if you really love Daniel Jones that much, why don't you like make your GM like dedicate, like not just address the offensive line, dedicate yourself to the offensive line? That's what I don't understand. But
one thing I will say in terms of that conspiracy theory, I don't believe it either. I don't think John Mara, quote unquote, got Daniel Jones the contract. What I will say though is John Mara is working overtime to get certain reporters to report certain things about Daniel Jones. If you've seen that,
I do see
that
that
100% I believe in, bro.
I do see that stuff.
They've been working overtime to protect his name and image over like the past 2 weeks. It's like every day a different thing. You know what I mean? I will say shout out to Jonathan. I saw a comment here from him from a while ago now. It's like 8 minutes. Very good comment. Really good point. I didn't really think about that. He says the central nervous system is the spinal cord and brain. Having a previous disc injury, and as much as he was getting sacked earlier this season, and we know he had another neck injury, his central nervous system was probably lit up like a Christmas tree, and he was probably toughing out the pain, and it's probably done. That could be it for sure, KB. Like we don't know.
Like his career?
No, he's talking about that. He responded to that when I was like, why all of a sudden is he so like jippy in the pocket, looking so like Eli in 2017 and whatnot? And he's like, he brings up a good point. He did have that neck injury. And to be fair, since he got that first neck injury, KB, this is the worst O line since then. So he hasn't had a reason, and he's probably scared of getting another neck injury because I've said it ad
He
nauseum.
suffered one.
Yeah, and he did end up suffering one. I said it ad nauseum. Guys like him and Tua low key, I think, should retire, like just from a safety point of view, because your neck is not something to play with. And in terms of Tua, it's your brain, right? Um, but that's a good point. That's a good point, KB. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's another thing, man. I don't know what's gonna. You know what's crazy? We never even talked about the freaking game yet. We just went straight into ownership and all that stuff.
Let's get to the game, bro.
But
There's some
yeah,
positivity.
let's drop this and get to the game, bro. Let me tell you right now, this defense, we called it. We've been calling it, and they finally they've been playing good, well for the past 2 3 weeks now. But this is the game where they were like, yo, we are a good defense. And we've been calling it for the last few weeks now. This Giants defense is a lot better than the numbers were showing. You just needed a competent offense, not even a good, bro. The offense wasn't even that good last
I,
week against
I would just like to
the
say I would like a little bit more credit because at one point I was like, I think they're an above average defense when you were like, I don't think so.
Yeah,
And
man.
I still stand by that. I don't want to jump the gun and say they're like a top 10 defense. I still stand by that from a couple weeks ago. I think they're top 10 to 15 defense. We'll
Okay.
see. Maybe they can be top 10, but
And
go ahead, KB.
the only thing holding them back from that
Is
is
the offense.
well, no, I'm just saying turnovers. Like they need more. They need
That's who, yeah.
consistent turnovers and sacks. Like now we don't need to get 6 sacks a game like we did last week. I'm not asking for 6 sacks a game, even though that would be fantastic. But um just get like two, 3 sacks a week, bro. Like that is like what a good defense does. A good to great defense is gonna get you 2 to 3 sacks a week, no matter who it's coming from. Just get consistent pressure, and then those sacks are going to lead to turnovers. I guarantee you, because you're going to be getting pressure. You won't be getting there every time, but you're going to force some errant throws, and you're going to get some turnovers. Like the Deontay Banks had an interception, right? First career interception in his rookie year. Great job. Deontay Banks baited that in a cover three. It was fantastic. So smart. What a smart play that Deontay Banks made. Um, Deontay Banks is the first corner since Rodarius Williams last year in week 10. The first cornerback since Rodarius Williams to get an interception for this team. That is ridiculous. Okay. Um, Everybody else has been either a safety or a linebacker, and that is just unacceptable, man. And I pointed this out on Twitter. The fact that our last corner was Rodarius Williams, and by the way, the Rodarius Williams was the only corner to get an interception for us in last year in 2022. So our defense was somewhat good. Yeah, that's
Was
true.
he
The only cornerback
wow.
to get, we only had 6 interceptions on the team.
Yeah, I
6.
remember that. But wow, he was the only corner? Did it
And
all
the
come from
only
linebackers and
corner,
safeties?
and that came in the Dallas game, and we lost the Dallas game. So, like, these turnovers weren't mattering. This turnover mattered because this helped change the tide of the game. Well, we kind of were dominating from the beginning, because we were up 14-0 by half. But this kept our foot on their necks. You know what I'm saying? So this is what we need. We need plays like this. And listen, it was part of it is the pressure. Bro, Dexter Lawrence, bro, Nick Gates coming back to MetLife, he has nightmares, bro. I know he does. Dexter Lawrence killed this man again. You
Mhm.
know, so like tore him up, bro. Tore him up. The Giants had 6 sacks. They more than they had more than 100% of the sacks they had coming in, bro. They came into this game with 5 sacks through 6 weeks. They finished with 11 sacks total. That's insane to me. They had 6 just in one game. So if you want to pad your stats, make sure you play the Washington Commanders. But Dexter Lawrence had 2 sacks. By the way, those 2 sacks were the first of the season for him. So congratulations to Dexter Lawrence. Kayvon Thibodeau gets himself 1.5 sacks. That adds to a 5.5 sacks onto the year. And we'll get into more Kayvon Thibodeau later on in the show. And Micah McFadden had a half sack. Jason Pinnock had a sack. And I don't know if I'm missing somebody. I don't know if I'm missing. I think that totals into the 6 sacks. But shout out to all those guys. Played extremely well. And yeah, I'm trying to remember if there's anything else defensively to talk about. Leonard Williams had a sack. Yes, Leo Williams
Yeah,
finally
he had a
showed
blocked
up.
punt.
And a block punt. Yeah,
No, a block
block
kick.
kick that him and Nacho worked together on. I saw that on the sights and sounds. Very excited. I'm very excited to see those again. Right? we got 9 of those last
We
year.
only get it like when we win,
Bro,
bro. It's so
why did
weird.
they do that? Like, I know they're trying to
I
like
still want to see
I
it, like what
bro,
they're saying
you
in
know what's crazy?
everything,
That
bro.
is deliberate propaganda. Bro, that is deliberate propaganda, bro. They only post sights and sounds when they win games. Are you serious, bro? You're telling me there's no good times when they're losing games? Come on, man. Like that Buffalo game, I really would have loved to see the sight and sounds in that Buffalo game, bro. And then like
Mhm.
little short conversations like Darren Waller had with Chase Young in that Washington game with like, oh, did Jalen Hyatt catch it or not? Bro, I'm sure that stuff happens all the time. Those cool little conversations happen all the time in the games that we lose, but we'll never see them, bro. They're just in the archives forever. Bro, that sucks. That really sucks. But anything you want to talk about the defense before you talk about the offense?
Um, yeah, with the defense, shout out to Tay Banks getting that first interception. He should have gotten one earlier. Honestly, I think he could have gotten one earlier in the season. But at the same time, KB, we talked about Tay Banks like this before. I was like, I don't think he's gonna be a corner that ends up getting too many interceptions throughout his career. I think he's just gonna be
Yeah,
a really good cover guy that gets past deflections and makes sure the ball isn't completed. Or if it is, he's right there to tackle and try and swipe it out the hands. That's the way he played in Maryland. He did have more interception, obviously, in Maryland. And that's the way he's played so far up until this game where he got that one in. And I'm fine with that. Of course, you brought it up, and I agree with you last week when you said, but I would want him to get more interceptions. One, because you
mhm.
get the turnover for the ball. And two, it allows him to get the credit he so deserves because we're already seeing him kind of. It's not that people are talking down on him, but they're not giving him the credit he deserves right now. He's kind of getting overshined or overshown by Devin Witherspoon, and Devin Witherspoon is really on another level. But Tay Banks is like he's the second best rookie corner in this class. You're not hearing anything about him, and he's holding his own
I got
against
a
Terry
video coming
McLaurin.
about that soon. How under the
Yeah.
radar he is. Yeah.
Shout out to Kayvon Thibodeau, who we'll get to as well. Kayvon Thibodeau continuing his streak of games of just being what we need him to be, which is our star pass rusher. Brought up last week when, or was it last week or the week before when I was like, yo, have you noticed Kayvon has been on a tear? Was it
Yeah,
last week or
I
was it the
think it
week
was
before?
I think it started 2 weeks ago, and
Yeah.
then we
And
kinda
then we
we
talked
kinda
about it
brought it up
last week.
again last week, and yeah, he's
Yeah,
continuing.
just
Continuing, yeah.
continuing with it. And guys, he's on pace right now. I don't know if you guys know, for 51 pressures and 14 and a half sacks. You're telling me you're not going to take that? Like, in all seriousness,
Bro,
like,
that's a Von Miller type
comment
season right there.
in the chat right now. Obviously, it's a projection, but if Kayvon Thibodeau finished the season with 14 and a half sacks and 51 pressures,
Well, yeah, you can't
you're not
say
taking that?
anything. Yeah.
Is that not literally a top edge rusher in the NFL? That is a top edge rusher in the NFL.
You know
That
what's
is something
crazy
you
too?
want.
You know what's
That is
crazy?
what we drafted him for, and he's on pace for it.
You know what's crazy? Even though he did get off to a slow start, I do wanna preface that. He did get off to a slow start where he just didn't look like his head was in the game. But if you notice something last year, although he played great and made plays last year, if you look at the majority of his sacks, they came on free rushes. Okay. That he just went in there and it didn't take much skill. Just use your speed and get to the quarterback. This year, he's beating corners to the edge, getting around, using his speed to power, and getting to the quarterback. Like, yeah, he's not closing out games like he did against Washington, not closing out games like he did against Lamar Jackson, but those were free rushes and that was and it was his first career sack against like against Lamar Jackson. That was his first career sack. That's why it was special. But if you look at all of his sacks, like he wasn't like killing anybody in his rookie season. Like he just got there. It was right place, right time, and took advantage. This year, he's actually showing that he can get some pressure. Now, Bobby Skinner did say that his pass rush win rate isn't there yet, but bro, if you look at his pressures, if you look at his sacks, like he's making plays now, and he's making up for the lost time, like in week 1, week 2, where he was non-existent.
Yep.
Now, like, and listen, I was critical of him. I was tearing this guy up on stream for his lack of production. But I call it how I see it. If you play well after playing terribly, of course, I'm gonna give you your flowers. I'm gonna tell you, yo, thank you for playing well. That's all we want. I don't hate any particular player. If you suck, I'm gonna say you suck. But if you are good, Like, I really don't like Dane
And
Belton.
it wasn't it wasn't
Shots
even a
fired at
"you
Dane
suck"
Belton.
thing.
Dane Belton just caught a stray, but I don't
Yeah,
like
for no
Dane Belton.
reason.
Yeah, I don't
And
like
it
Dane
wasn't
Belton. If he
even
plays well,
it
then good.
wasn't even a being a bad player thing, K, because I remember it. This was when we brought it back up last week. I was like, KB, I remember you said earlier in the season, Kayvon's head's not in the game. Do you think his head is in the game now? That's different from being a bad player. He
Right.
didn't look like he was like giving it
He's
his all,
not,
but he
but he's
certainly
not a
is.
bad player.
And to
Yeah,
summarize all that you said, KB, simply put, he's a better player this year than he is last year because his sacks are not coming
I
from
think
free
so.
rushes.
I think
And guess
so.
what? Because he is getting more pressures. According to some people on the radio, pressures don't matter. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't know you could. Oh, I can't say that word. Yo, we'd probably
Do
get
it.
taken down.
Do
We'd probably
it.
get taken. No, we'd get taken down from YouTube, bro.
Do it, bro. Do it. I'm putting my channel on the line.
I didn't know you could be retarded and be on the radio, bro.
Yeah, I think you can say that. You're good. Yeah, I know,
I
bro.
didn't. I didn't know you
You want to
could
get into it
be.
now? I was gonna get into it later, but do you want to get into it now?
We could
We're
get
on
into it
topic.
because
We're on
we could get
topic.
into it with Kayvon because I was gonna
Yeah.
say, how do you say? And there's a 99% chance you guys do know what we're talking about. If you don't, I'm pretty sure KB said he was gonna pull up some stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So
pull up
just wait for a second. But how do you say two of the following two things? Pressures are supposed to be what we want from a top pick. Yes, they said that. And then second of all, they said I don't feel his impact. He's just not impacting the game. Are you watching the same games? And third of all, they literally said this, KB. I don't understand the game like you do, Mr. Carl
right.
Banks. I don't know how to
I
break
can't
down
believe he
film.
said that. Can't
So,
believe he said that.
but and in the same sentence, they said, in my opinion, he's not good. He's not performing. When you had Carl Banks on the call telling you how he's doing, there's a full clip somewhere. Carl Banks himself posted the
Hold
full
on.
clip. Just go to Carl Banks' Twitter.
You know what I was gonna do? Hold on.
Just go to Carl Banks' Twitter. He
No, I
posted the full clip.
yeah, I have like context for that as well. So
Mhm.
I just gotta go up to my I put it all in order here. Yes, I did. Okay.
Oh yeah, and they body shamed Kayvon for no reason. That was yesterday, and Diggy
Yeah,
pointed
yeah.
that
Trust me,
out.
I got all the clips. I got all the clips right here. I got all the clips right here. All right, you ready? Can you
All
guys
right.
see? Can you guys hear as well?
Out of spurts and chunks of the game where Thibodeau's not doing anything.
Are you able to hear that?
Yeah, we could hear, but isn't it that from today?
Huh?
Isn't that from today's
Oh
podcast, or
yeah,
is that
yeah,
from the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yesterday's?
Let me go to right here. This is the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Game where they get 45 sacks. Kayvon Thibodeau's known for dropping his short pick six. He stinks, dude. I can't stand guys. First of all, I don't like his like there's nothing about his game that jumps out to me.
I agree with that.
His body looks awkward. He's not fast. He's not like Dexter, and I know they play different positions, but Dexter Lawrence is a physical presence, right?
He's a
Leonard
freak.
Williams, same thing, right? Physical presence. By the way, they're
After the video finishes, just show what Diggy's
So
caption
Thibodeau,
is,
like stands
because the
tall,
caption
but
is all I
he
need to.
doesn't do anything with his size,
Mhm.
and he's not fast enough to be a pass rusher.
He's not quick twitch.
Oh my
What does he
God.
do? He doesn't. He runs his mouth and he dresses nicely. A game where the defense is feasting. Kayvon Thibodeau can't even make a pick six that was tailor made.
I mean, the one thing
and
after
a
not
game where they
Now show the caption.
a game where they
Show chat the caption, because Diggy was spot
shout
on
out
with
to-
this. That's
shout out
all
to
I had to
Diggy.
say.
Are folks even watching these games? He just spewed a bunch of inaccurate information and body shamed Kayvon.
That's all he did. Shout
Bro.
out to Alex in the chat, by the way, because Alex, that's exactly what he did. He's breaking down Kayvon's play like he's a kid.
Yo, and let
All
me tell you
noise, no
something.
analysis.
I didn't know not having hair also meant you lose brain cells. Like there is literally no strand of hair on both of these combined zero strands of hair on both of these guys' heads, and there's no brain cells to be seen either. At all. The fact that you know what pisses me off the most about people when they're so confident about being wrong about something. You know what I'm saying? He's not quick twitch. What the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean he's not fast? Are you crazy?
Yeah, he had like the fastest motor in the draft.
Bro, he's faster than Aiden Hutchinson. What are you talking about? Like, I don't understand how these people are on radio. And you know what? This is why radio is dying. This is why nobody gives a damn about WFAN and the radio. I'm sorry, Carl Banks. I know you're having a war with them. I don't want to because you work for WFAN too. But this is why radio is dying. Because you get a bunch of people who don't know what the hell they're talking about on here because they're looking for clicks. Bro, It's insane to me. It's absolutely insane.
I don't know
And
how
this
they
is
got
why
on
their
in the
YouTube
first, how
channel.
they even got their job in the first place, bro. I don't know.
This is why their YouTube channel doesn't get shit for views either. We dominate the views on YouTube. Okay, they don't get anything for views. They make pedestrian numbers here, and they're just fighting to try to get into the algorithm. But let's
Now,
keep going here.
is the next one you're gonna play? I think the next one you should play should just be the full segment that Carl
This one right
Banks
here,
himself
right?
posted. No, the one
Oh,
that Carl Banks, but he posted like the entire segment. It's not long because they hung up on him. But just go to his page.
bet. Watch the chat while I put it up.
Because I feel like just let them have the whole thing instead of it being in pieces right now.
Bet.
But for those of you that still don't get it or still don't realize, I think like I said, 99 if not 100% of you do. That was the context, and Carl Banks was set to appear on the show today. And a lot of people were trying to actually tune in and see what he had to say.
I'm trying to find
And
it.
they just did not let him speak at all. They didn't let him speak. They shut him down. And like a couple of whiny kids didn't listen to a word he said. And then they said the words I said earlier, which is like, para pressures are supposed to move me. Oh, I don't understand film, but this is my opinion. Like,
I don't think he posted it.
I got you. Let me see if I could forward it to you.
Because I'm looking at
He
his
said
account right now.
said something about this is the full
He
thing,
must have
man.
retweeted it then.
Yeah, did you go on his account? It's like the second tweet on his account.
What?
I'm just gonna send it to you. It's a link, but it says like full
Oh,
segment.
it's a link. Oh, I thought he just posted it. Okay, so you want to just
Oh, actually, no, let's not do that. It's 24 minutes.
what the
24 minutes.
Did they talk
Just,
for 24 minutes?
I guess just post what Ash had. Post what Ash had then. I mean, I'll pull that up what Ash had.
Okay. See, I
Shout out to Ronnie. What's up?
I got Ash's tweet.
Yeah, just project that and then play that. But 24 minutes for sure. I gotta watch that later. Oh,
I don't think that he was on there for full 24 minutes though. I could
We'll
be
see.
wrong because they cut him off. So, what is up, everybody in the chat? I'm gonna try to get to you guys' chat soon, but I'm not obviously looking at the screen because I'm pulling this up. But all right, let's
press
go.
play
Guys.
in full screen.
Shout out to Ash for this clip and shout out to Diggy for the prior one.
Average last year.
I'm just telling you guys, it is unhealthy.
It's okay. It's not unhealthy.
It's
Carl,
unhealthy
you
to
said
your
he was
fandom.
I'm just giving my opinion.
It's not.
I mean,
yeah.
My opinion is that
it's unhealthy to your fandom, man. It is really unhealthy to your fandom. Like, if it's not your job to find out what the kid does right,
Yeah.
then it should not be your job to call him a bust.
How about this?
Because if you're gonna call it way,
I've
you gotta be able to
I'm
tell
sorry.
me.
I've heard enough. I'm
You
allowed
gonna
to
hear?
call him a
You
bust.
gonna hear?
Yo, pause it right there.
Your show.
Who are you to tell him you heard enough, bro?
Bro,
Who are you?
Bro, the fact, and I have to watch the whole thing, but the fact that they weren't even able to hear him out of why he's saying that, bro, tells me that they know that they're about to get caught in something that they don't want to have to answer, have to be forced to respond to. So they're just trying to cut him off. Bro, these guys are the biggest losers, absolute losers of the Giants media. Or New York media. These guys are, first of all, Brennan Tierney always says something stupid because what is he, a Jets fan or something like that? When he was on Tiki and Tierney, like this is why they were just like, I couldn't watch them, bro. They don't know ball. They do not know. What is it with these radio hosts not knowing ball? Like, I don't expect you to sit there and watch all 22 as not everybody has time to do. I don't even have time to do it, even though I love to do it. Bro, why do you guys just don't know ball? Like, you guys don't even know what you're talking about. Like, you got me and Kush are 20. We're both young, 20 in our 20s, right? And we got our own things going on. We are not necessarily paid big bucks to do this, and we still know more than all of you guys, than all these people on the radio. I don't understand how you can be this garbage at your own job that you make a living for. Like, I'm sorry. And the fact that listen, I don't agree with everything Carl Banks says, okay? Trust me. Just because he's a Giants legend, I'm not, and I know he knows this. He knows that you don't have to agree with everything he says. That's why he's for the banter. He's for debate and stuff like that. He likes to talk on Giants Twitter. You don't have to agree with everything he says, but hear the man out and have some respect, bro. He's a legend. How you gonna talk to this man like that? He's an absolute legend, bro, in Giants lore. There's no way. Bro, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Let's keep going here. Because they talk a lot of shit about him after, like, they talk shit after they hung up on him.
We gotta have a voice here, and I appreciate the time, Carl. Thank you. Here's the thing: Carl's supposed to be on the air and educate us. I don't want to hear that we can't give our opinion on what I'm seeing. Tell me why what I'm seeing is wrong.
Yeah,
he has not made his impact felt. That is my opinion on it. I feel it when I watch Micah Parsons, who was a top pick. I don't feel it when I watch Kayvon Thibodeau.
And let me bring up a point here. Because he does make a little bit of a point here, but I'm not excusing anything that he did. Kayvon Thibodeau is now producing up to a Micah Parsons. Now, Micah Parsons is
the crazy thing is he said it like he just said a brand new revelation in physics or something.
Right.
Anybody with two eyes is gonna agree with that because Micah Parsons is on another level, bro.
Yeah, and like Kayvon, this is what our biggest thing is with Kayvon right now. Like, we want you to play like a 5th overall pick. And that's something I do understand. I can get that sentiment. And maybe he's taking that small fact that he was a 5th overall pick and not playing up to it right now. And maybe he's taking that small fact and just running with it and now disregarding his recent production and just saying, you just suck flat out. Bro, you have to admit when you're wrong. Even I did it. I was like, listen, Kayvon isn't playing well right now. He's playing like ass. He's not putting his head in the game. And then he started to play well. I'm like, yo, you're playing well. Just keep proving me wrong. Just keep proving it to us, man. What's up, Jacob?
Shout out to Michael Johnson in here as well.
Michael Johnson, yeah, he said I can't stand this client. Yeah, it's crazy, bro. Both of them. Tyranny is not absolved here, at all. Like, even though he hasn't been talking as much, because obviously I don't even think he's a Giants fan, so he doesn't have really a stake in this. But he's not good either. Also, guys, Tyrod Taylor's a young QB. Yeah, I know. That's another guy, Jason McIntyre, bro. He's so he's worse than those two.
What up, Abrar?
He's worse than those two. Sal's a clown. What up, family? What's up, Ronnie? Sports radio is unfortunately for old heads. Yeah, it's a bunch of. You know what's crazy? When these old heads were younger, they were probably as involved in football as we are, but obviously with technology and stuff like that, we're able to get these stats a lot quicker. We're able to see film, things like that. So I guess we get a better understanding than they did when they were young, and they just never adapted from that. Like, they still listen to the radio for games. They still listen to the radio for sports talk or whatever. And it's really casual football fan stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really casual stuff. Like, the whole Kayvon thing was like 4 weeks ago. The fact that radio is still paying attention to this and saying that Kayvon is still playing like butt and thinking that people were going to agree to this is ridiculous.
Exactly.
But let's try to finish this clip.
Want to educate us? Do it. How about this? Take us to Giants Stadium, have us sit through a film session, and point out on film, not on Sunday when I got all the other games on, watching the Giants, of course, but you're watching him and you're waiting for him to make his impact.
So now you're just digging your own grave.
Film of what Thibodeau's doing. I don't understand the defensive schemes. Carl does.
Then how would you expect to understand? If you don't understand defensive schemes, if Carl Banks were to show it to you, put your bald ass head onto the damn screen, you still wouldn't understand. It's still going to be mumbo jumbo gibberish because you are a casual football fan. You don't understand this shit. I don't even understand. I don't even think you understand a cover 3 from a cover 2. I doubt you understand it. I doubt it.
Giants do. Explain to us, and then let us see the impact that Kayvon Thibodeau is having. I don't judge Micah Parsons on that level. I'm not judging Lawrence on that level or Leonard Williams or Deontay Banks, but I could feel their presence. How come I can't feel Kayvon Thibodeau?
Oh, man. No, man.
Yeah, I know you got a couple other clips. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I have one more since we looked at this one.
The one from Authentic, right?
Yeah, I think this one is just a video version of when they were going off at each other. Hold on.
If you want to determine whether a guy is good or bad, you don't just look at the 5 bad plays in the game. You look at the 55 other ones.
Do you think he's a superstar?
What was he on these?
Do you think that he's a superstar?
He's a rising star.
Okay. Now we can maybe settle on that.
He's a rising star. He's not Micah Parsons, but he's not asked to be Micah Parsons.
He's the top.
Oh my, pause this, bro. Pause this. What is this, man? So, even if we were to try and humor their logic, right? Why aren't you using this argument for literally every other young edge rusher in the game? Aiden Hutchinson is not a Micah Parsons either, dog.
Oh yeah, we're gonna
What's so
get
crazy?
into, we're
But
gonna
what's
get
so? I just want to say this. What's so crazy is this is the same thing that I was talking about when people were not necessarily hating on Tay Banks earlier on in the season or in the preseason, because once the season started, they saw like, yo, he is that guy. Where I was like, not everybody's gonna be a Sauce Gardner. There's only one Sauce Gardner. There's literally only one Michael Parsons. Like it or not, guys, because he's a Cowboy. Some of y'all don't want to admit this. Michael Parsons is probably the best edge defender in the game right now. And sometimes it doesn't look close. Sometimes when he goes out there on that field, bro, it doesn't look close. And of course, other times, you got your TJ Watts, your Nick Bosa's, and your Myles Garrett. But sometimes when Michael Parsons is out on that field, he looks one of one. But there's only one of him, bro.
And we're
nobody else in the league is like him.
If I could find the clip, we're gonna get into Sal and what he thinks of Daniel Jones and the hypocrisy that you hear. And this is and that's an older clip, but the hypocrisy that you'll hear. And then check this out. Oh my God, I thank God authentic.
A lot of spurts and chunks of the game where Thibodeau's not doing anything, and then he gets a sack.
But by the way, that's why Carl is on the show.
Yeah, I know.
We're here to entertain and give opinion, which we do, and we do it well. He is supposed to come on and educate us and say, hey, you know what? Maybe you're wrong about Thibodeau because he's doing this, this, and that. I still didn't hear it. What does he do well? We pressured the quarterback. That's what we're supposed to be now. So now we're supposed to accept pressures from a
You
top
always
pick.
were supposed to accept
not
pressures.
Sacks, not impactful plays.
Oh, check this out. I'm sorry. I talked.
So now we're supposed to accept pressures from a top pick. Pressures, not sacks, not impactful plays.
He said not sacks. Dude, he has 5.5 sacks this season through 7 games. Through 7 games, he has 5.5 sacks. I'm sorry, I had this up. You acting like he's not getting sacks. You're saying, so we're only supposed to look at pressures, not sacks?
Once again, he's on pace for 14.5.
Bro, this guy probably thinks Kayvon Thibodeau has 1 sack this year, bro. I swear. He has 5.5 sacks through, bro. He already passed his total from his rookie season.
Pressure is what is okay, fine. Different parameter. I got to sit there with a notepad on Sundays and mark down all the pressures. Thibodeau. Well, you almost made an interception. He almost sacked the quarterback. Oh, this was a coverage sack. Does he get how many points we give him for a coverage sack? Is that
half a point? You wanted to throw a little something? A lot of spurts.
I can't. These guys are absolute morons. And if I could find the Sal, his take on Daniel Jones, I'll try to find it. But Man, I would love to get on that show. And if you don't think Carl Banks told you what he's doing right, I will. I will put the All 22 on and we'll live stream that shit, bro. Oh my God.
Yeah, shout out to James Hollister and Josh Murphy, the too many people in the chat. I guess you could start from James's first comment because that was the first new comment, really.
Can't feel too good without the quarterback position solidified. Yeah, we talked about a little bit of that earlier on in the stream. KT is not an impact player, says Talking Giants. I think you mean to say Talking Giants. Yeah. What do you mean by impact play? Not an impact player. And listen, I like Talking Giant, but doesn't mean I have to agree with anything they're saying. And honestly, is he an impact player, like a superstar? No, he's not. He's not that right now. And I think I could understand Sal's frustration, but to say that he's not doing anything on the field is ridiculous. Okay, well, if you guys were on this show week 1, week 2, week 3, I was out here saying that Kayvon Thibodeau is not putting it all out there. We're not seeing him. He's relatively silent. But ever since then, you were able to see Kayvon Thibodeau playing well. And that's where I shifted my take and said, yo, my bad. Okay. You went out there and you played a lot better than the first 3 weeks of the season. Now he's coming out and balling the next couple of weeks. Why does it have to be only one thing could be true, and it has to be true for the whole season? So he sucked the first 3 weeks of the season. Now he just sucks completely and he's a bust. Like, how does that make any sense? If he plays well through the next couple of weeks of the season, he's playing well. Now he has to work back to that to be like a straight impact player. Is he a Dexter Lawrence on this team? No. But let's be honest. He was talking about Leonard Williams like he was doing shit. Leonard Williams just got back onto the scene, bro. He makes $30 million. $30 million, and he hasn't made much of an impact. But And the past couple of games, Leonard Williams has been doing something. All the defense has been playing well the last couple of weeks when they all were doing terribly, you know? Now they're starting to pick up the steam a little bit. Bobby Okereke was struggling throughout the beginning of the season. He's starting to play really well as well, you know? So that's just how the defense is playing right now. But just because Kayvon Thibodeau wasn't playing well through the first couple of weeks of the season doesn't mean that he sucks and now he's bad for the rest of the whole season. Like, how can you chalk it up to that? I get his frustration, but you gotta like kind of be fair. You gotta be fair. Let me see if I can find Sal's opinion on Sal. What's his name? Sal
Licata or something.
Licata. Daniel Jones. Oh yeah, WFAN posted this like it was a. I gotta quote tweet this.
While he does that, shout out to Josh Murphy. I don't know if you got this already. He says, excuse me, media makes it seem like every single player has to be a Hall of Famer or they're completely incompetent. In reality, most players in the league are somewhere in between. I completely agree. And Kayvon isn't somewhere in between either. He's a little bit above somewhere in between, I believe. But that's a point. And it's not all media. It's really radio media, like me and KB have been saying, and some of mainstream media. Because at this point, I'll keep it real with you guys. I feel like YouTube and online has become a part of mainstream media, and you don't necessarily see it there. You more so see it on the older stuff, like TV, for example.
Yeah. So, all right, I found the clip. Let me like it so I don't lose it just in case. But this is, bro, WFAN posted this. I wanna preface that. WFAN posted this. Okay. Oh man. And I'm gonna make a video on this as well. I'm working on my own video right now, but I'm gonna make a video on this too.
I think Daniel Jones could put up 28 to 35 points yesterday with the way the offensive line played. I think it's a little asinine to me.
I mean, he hasn't done that this year, and he didn't really even do it last year a lot. So where's the evidence that he can?
Second half this year against Arizona, they put up 31 points.
As a Daniel Jones fan that you are and a supporter, you got to do him a favor and stop bringing up that second half of that Arizona game.
We are elevating the game a little much here. I mean, come on.
Oh, it's all he did. Why did it not happen? I'm confused.
Jamarcus Russell had one good game too for the Raiders one. I don't still bring it up. Like, you got to let that half
Look at his face.
Mike,
it's not good.
No, it was good. Like, are you stupid? It won't get lost. It's not good. He threw for 321 yards.
He hung up on him too. When he said get lost, he hung up on him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my God, BT, they scored 31 points in the second half.
If you don't.
And you know what's funny? Authentic said this because I don't really pay attention to these radio talks, right? I don't really pay attention to these content creators. I mean, they're not content creators; they're radio hosts. I don't pay attention to them because they're garbage. Authentic said that this guy Sal Licata was actually a big DJ hater, and then like came to the enlightened side, and now is like gung ho for DJ. And check this out: disregards every game that DJ had and focuses on the half of football that is played against the Arizona Cardinals and clings onto it for dear life. But when it comes to Kayvon Thibodeau, he has done nothing the entire season, even though he has 5.5 sacks and has played better right now than a Daniel Jones has right now. Let's be real. All right. That's crazy.
Bro, most players on the team have.
That's crazy. And this man, I'm about to make a video on him. But damn, that's crazy. Saquon Barkley needs to go off and have a day, I assume he's saying. But that's another thing, man. Saquon coming back, it's clear that his presence is needed. It's clear that Saquon Barkley is needed. Now, obviously, I don't want to talk too much about next year because next year is next year. I really don't even want to think about that. But it's not looking bright for Saquon Barkley coming back to the Giants, to be honest with you. Even though I feel like we do need him, his injury really played a part in him probably sacrificing that money with that injury. That probably took away his money right there. Tommy, let me read the first comment here. These youngsters are growing up before our eyes. Mustache, beards, new cuts. Keep doing y'all thing. Let's go 6-0 before the bye.
Shout out to Tommy, man.
Shout out to Tommy. Yeah, man. If you guys first saw me on YouTube, I was a baby face, bro. Still got baby face, you know what I'm saying? But I had no hairs on my face at all. And I still barely do. So I appreciate the love. He said Giants need to keep crowding the line of scrimmage and attacking and shooting gaps, playing downhill off and offense. We just need the last years. I think he meant
I'm guessing last year's scheme
last
and
year's
this year's
team and this
talent to
year's
run the
talent.
ball. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. That's a good point. And listen, shooting gaps, that's a big linebacker thing. The Giants have their linebackers, man. Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden are absolutely like the best linebacker play we've seen from this team since like our Super Bowl years, man. It's a crazy. And even in our Super Bowl years, the linebackers weren't even that great. So I'm not going to compare them because I'm not going to act like I know everything about the linebackers back in those years. But we haven't seen this level of play in a while. But the fact is we should pay Saquon more than DJ though.
And we could
I could
quickly
agree
comment on
with
this.
that. Yeah, go ahead. You could take it
I
away.
was gonna say, like, I could quickly comment on this. I agree with it because Saquon is the better player, and Saquon clearly has a bigger impact on the field. We saw it last year when he went out. We saw it every single year that he's been out versus when he's in. We saw it this year. Literally, he came back last week. We didn't win last week, but he was basically the entire offense. Obviously, he was a big part of us winning this past week. It's just that you can't. I get where the front office is coming from, right? You can't necessarily bank on him being consistently available going forward. Not at this point, he's going to go into is it about to be 7th year, which is crazy?
Yeah.
18, 19, 20, 21,
He got
22,
franchise tag. His
23 is right now.
Yeah.
Going into his 7th year.
That's crazy.
You know, despite Saquon being, injured, he's actually had a very long running back career, which is really crazy to think about. That's a long career for a back. You can't bank on it in terms of giving him the money that he deserves. That's the thing. Because he deserves to get what he's asking for. But we might not be the one to give it to him. And this is something I brought up to KB during the offseason. I brought this up to KB in the offseason. How are they going to replace him? Because as of right now, they haven't shown the ability to do so, which I expected better from Joe Shane, to show the ability to replace Saquon either with multiple players or another really talented player like him. He hasn't done that to this point.
Yeah, they'll have listen and replacing Saquon is no easy feat, right? That is not going to be easy to do. But say here to kind of add on to what you said, Saquon's talent deserves to get paid. Saquon as a whole, it's very sketchy because of the injury history, right? He puts himself. It's not even he puts himself, bro. His what he can do with that body of his. Pause. What he can do with his body is insane. Like he puts a lot of stress on his body, right? His frame, he's what 6 foot, 235 pounds or something like that. And how fast he is, how quick he's able to cut on a dime. He puts a lot of stress on those ankles, on those hamstrings, and that's why he's always getting hurt. And he is considered injury prone. That's what's going to keep him from getting paid. Nobody denies his talent. Does his talent deserve $16 million a year? I say so. I definitely say so. He turns a game that is close and winds up winning it for us. Like, how many games has that happened? Like, if you remember that Saints game that DJ completely went off. Like, I think Saquon had a fantastic game that year. He took a reception for a touchdown. That really helped us win the game. You look at in this game, he took another 32-yard reception to the house. Like, he just doesn't do it on the ground. He does it in the air as well. And then somebody said, so trade him now. Radical Sim says, here's the thing. I think Saquon's one of those people you don't trade because although you may get a 3rd round pick for him. You may get a 3rd round pick for him at the point of his career right now, coming off an injury, having on a franchise side, having to get signed, right? Because he's not on contract pretty much. He's not on contract, in next season. You're going to get like a 4th, 5th rounder for him because his value goes down with injuries and his value goes down with the contract because he basically is not on a contract right now. He's on a franchise tag. his value goes down dramatically. You're going to get a 4th or 5th rounder for him. And here's the thing. If you trade Saquon Barkley, you got to hope that 4th round pick that you get for him is worth the destruction of the locker room.
Yep.
That is the biggest thing. He's a leader.
People don't realize how
Bro,
big of a leader he is.
The face of the team right now. As much as we want to say it's Daniel Jones, it's not. I'm sorry. The face of this franchise right now is Saquon Barkley, and he holds this team together. You could see it in the sights and sounds, in the interviews, on social media, everywhere you go. You see that everybody gravitates around Saquon Barkley. He's a leader. He gungs ho for every single one of those guys out there. When Daniel Jones got hurt, he was the one cursing out Giants fans, cursing him out, talking about that were criticizing Daniel Jones after he got hurt. He goes all out for his team. He is a locker room guy. He is what holds this team together. If you trade Saquon Barkley, your team, everybody's getting demoralized. This team is going to play like 2017, bro. Worse than that. They are going to get completely demoralized. They're going to hate the front office, and they're going to root against them. They're going to play against them. I guarantee you, like they did in 2017. Bro, they tried to get McAdoo fired in 2017 because of how much he was disrespecting Eli. Bro, he went off, threw Eli under the bus, and the whole team said, like, F you. We're gonna choke these games out. So that's what they did. And that's what they did. I don't think you trade Saquon Barkley. I don't think you should do that. As much as we might be sellers at the trade deadline. And listen, when is the trade deadline, man?
Isn't it like around the halfway point of the season? Or am I tripping?
Yeah, because
isn't it usually like around like week 8 or 9? Let's see if we could find the exact date.
Yeah, I think
NFL trade deadline.
October 31st.
31st. Oh, literally in a couple days.
So it's in a week from now. So our next Young Gun stream, which should be on the 1st of November, if my math
would be the day after, yeah.
Would be the day after. So we'll be able to talk about it. But that's another interesting subject. You think the Giants are going to be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline?
Before we get into that, let's get some of these comments real quick. I definitely agree with you. Big Blue 831, feed Hyatt often. We kind of talked about what Tyrod did better.
Yeah.
Right? Did we really get into it though as a topic, or was it just that? We didn't
get into the offense at all because we were talking too much about defense, and then we got into the cave on stuff. But we could talk about that next.
Yeah, no, let's talk about that now. I think, and come back to trade deadline for the end.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm not gonna say what I said about Tyrod earlier. I'm just gonna say more decisive, knows how to handle the pocket better and pressure in the pocket better. In that decisiveness includes actually giving Jalen Hyatt a chance and Hyatt coming down with it. Includes using Darren Waller more and then targeting him in the red zone. These are things that you need your QB to do, and that is use the weapons. The offense looked better. It kind of got a little bit stalemated in the second half. Why do you think they kind of slowed down in the second half, KB?
I haven't got into the film yet, because I would have loved to today, but I couldn't. But I assume it was just whatever they were doing wasn't working anymore. Like their luck ran out. Because if you really look at it, those, especially the Jalen Hyatt plays, those were all like on third downs, right? Those were all like Jalen Hyatt, just go deep and we're gonna throw it to you. I feel like their luck kind of just ran out, and Washington started to stop them a little bit. I don't even think they let their foot off the gas pedal, so to speak, because they were only up 14-0. I mean, that is 2 scores, but I mean that's easy to kind of come back from. I don't quite know. But yeah, Jalen Hyatt, it's no coincidence that Jalen Hyatt has more targets in these past 2 games than he did his entire, like the rest of those games with Daniel Jones there. And listen, I'm not going to knock on Daniel Jones. We're not going to talk too much about that. I'm really going to focus on Jalen Hyatt. And like, there's a lot of different reasons why Hyatt isn't on the field getting all that production. And there's a reason why I was upset about the draft pick. A lot of you guys know that I wasn't very enthusiastic about the draft pick. I will be very admitted, like I would admit that. And you guys can go back.
I was the guy that wanted Hyatt. Yeah. going into round 3. I was like, yo, why is he still on the board, bro? We should target him.
Like, if you guys go back to my draft reaction, this is I mean, I didn't predict exactly what's gonna happen, but I had an idea that this was gonna kind of like what was gonna happen for Jalen Hyatt. That he wasn't gonna see the field much. He's just a deep threat guy. He's developing. He's not there yet as a receiver, because I did a lot of film on him because I like go deep into the film and stuff like that with a lot of these different college prospects. And I wasn't that I just didn't feel like Jalen Hyatt really translated to the NFL like perfectly yet. I think he had a lot of work to do. But one thing I did say is that this man is extremely fast. Not only is he extremely fast, he knows how to slash right through a defense and not have to work around them. Like he'll find an angle to get right through a defense with not even having to turn or do anything like that. And he has great hands, fantastic hands. We've seen that this Sunday. He does not drop passes. The dude just does not drop. He did drop passes on short routes, and that was what I was going to get to as well. Jalen Hyatt right now, this is not a bad thing, but he is a one-trick pony. He is a one.
Mhm.
There are different things keeping Jalen Hyatt from not getting the ball this season, and some of it is his own doing. Okay, you can talk about the offensive line not giving him time to get deep and targeted, and then you could also look at the lack of Daniel Jones pushing the ball downfield. But you also have to talk about Jalen Hyatt himself. He does not do short routes. If you look at the film, if you look at the progressions, he's not part of the progressions. He is not part of like the game plan. He's just there on those third downs to just go out there and clear out. And if the quarterback wants to take a chance, you take a chance. All of his reception, I think, came on third down. I could be wrong about that. In this game against Washington, I think all of his catches came on third downs. So they were just like, yo, just go out there and go get the ball. He has a lot of work to do as a receiver. And I think he's getting there, but I do think that the Giants need to give him a shot. Like, I'm very critical of Hyatt, but I do think I want to give him a shot. I think he can take a top off of defense. I think he can stretch the field. I think he can open up a lot of things underneath for a lot of players. I want to see him on the field more often. He's starting games over Isaiah Hodgins now, so maybe they're getting back in there. But here's the thing. If Daniel Jones comes back this season, because that is still up in the air as well, as much as they don't want to say it, if Daniel Jones comes back this season, they got to keep Hyatt in the game. You got to see what you can do there. And you got to tell Daniel Jones in these film sessions, when they go into film and they look at the film and what Tyrod Taylor did, they got to stress it to DJ, say, listen, this looks like it's not there, but take a chance, bro. Just trust your arm, trust your receivers, and say, look, your backup quarterback is doing it. We're paying this guy $5 million. We paid you to be the franchise quarterback. We didn't choose him. We chose you. So make those plays, bro. So, yeah. So when it comes to Hyatt, bro, I want to see more of him. I love what I see from Hyatt, and he comes, bro. That catch, that toe tap drag swag that he had against Washington was crazy, bro. That was nuts. That was I low key think he didn't catch it, but it looked cool. Okay, it looked cool. But yeah, you can take it away if you want to talk.
I was gonna say once again, let's get to the comments
Yeah.
in the chat right here. Let's see. Let's start off with that's something that I'm gonna get to when I speak about it. The next comment says, "You do see Tibbs get the edge sometimes and he'll lose his footing. At that point, the tackle just puts him on the ground. I've seen that happen to him plenty of times. Something to be improved. I don't think anybody here is saying that he's a complete player.
No, not in the slightest.
Or that, like I agree with
working his
Carl
way
Banks.
up.
What he said, he's a rising star.
Mhm.
Is it his second year? Like, bro, once again, not everybody's gonna beat Micah Parsons. Like,
And as much as we
what are we
want,
talking about here?
no matter how you slice it, he's our number one edge rusher right now, and he's playing like it. I wouldn't say he's playing fully up to it, but he's rising up to the challenge. Rising up to the challenge for sure is how I would say it.
At once AT and JMS are back, what does our starting online look like? What does our starting online look like?
Justin Pugh at guard and watch him cook. I think Justin Pugh is going to be great
Left,
at guard.
left or right? What's he? He's been at
I want him at left guard. He's been all over the line, and
he's been a tackle.
Bro, yeah, he started off at right. He started off at guard for us, then moved to tackle, and then moved to left guard. He started at right guard, then moved to right tackle, then moved to left guard. So, in his career with us, but put Justin Pugh at guard and watch him work, man. He's gonna be a lot better at guard. So here's how I would have it: left to right, right. And listen, when you plug both those guys back in there, you're starting to look at a decent offensive line, right? Andrew Thomas. Hopefully that hamstrings scare the crap out of me, man, because hamstrings just don't go away, man. Hamstring injuries don't go away. Like, I'd rather him be dealing with a freaking like shoulder injury or something. You know what I'm saying? But hamstring injuries just don't go away. That's a muscle problem. So
then, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, my left to right offensive line. Andrew Thomas, Justin Pugh, JMS. I want Ben Bredesen there or Mark Glowinski. Glowinski been playing well. His PFF grades have been like in the 80s, which is insane to me. And he hasn't allowed a sack in the past 2 games. So congrats to him. So either Ben Bredesen or Glowinski. Either way, we'll have a good quality backup at guard. And then Evan Neal, which we don't have much of an option, right? But I think that's a decent line. I don't think that's a bad line. I think Justin Pugh is not great, but he is a gap filler for now at guard. I don't think he's a good tackle at all. I don't even think he's serviceable. I think he's a bad tackle right now because he's just not a tackle, right? This is why he moved to guard in his career. And that's okay. But he's a guard, and I think he would have been fine. When we were playing against Buffalo, he was decent at guard. And then they had to move him to tackle because Josh Azudu got hurt. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's how I would see it. That's how I would see it.
I would probably agree with you. Put him at left guard. I know Mark Lewinsky's been good. I would probably just have Bredesen there because he's been more consistent.
Yeah, I don't.
And then this is where I'm like, listen, I know you don't like the man, but if Neal continues to struggle, just put McKeithen out there at tackle.
No,
bro.
no. Bro, McKeithen's never played tackle. What are you talking about? No,
bro.
I can't. There's no way.
I misspoke.
Oh, just Josh Azudu. You meant Josh
Azudu. I completely misspoke.
You almost made me leave this damn podcast, bro.
I completely misspoke. That's on me. That's on me.
Right here,
I completely misspoke. Josh Azudu, which is hilarious that I misspoke because I'm a big Azudu guy. But no. If Neal continues to struggle, put Azudu out there. He's looked serviceable at tackle, and Neal has worked worse. No, why am I jumbling over my words? Neal has looked worse than serviceable at times.
Yeah.
To get to the next comment, he can block too. He had key blocks. I think this was referring to Jalen Hyatt because this was while you were talking about Jalen Hyatt. He's a good receiver, and for a 3rd round pick, he's 100% a steal.
Yeah, for sure. 9 receptions. He only had, by the way, guys, quick fun fact. He only has 9 receptions. You know how much yards he has with those 9 receptions?
A lot.
195 yards with 9 receptions. That is 21.7 yards per reception. That is an insane number for a rookie. But yeah.
You have to understand these players/employees of the team have spoke highly about the team for years, yet the results have not been there. So these on-air guys don't want to hear it anymore. I'm not sure if you're referring to Sal and Tierney.
Wait, let me read that again. You have to understand these players, employees of the team have spoke highly about this team, yet the results are not even. They've always been, bro. Radio hosts are like the most critical, like especially in New York media. Whether it's like the Yes Network, bro. The Yes Network. How many clips have you seen about freaking the Francesa or this other clown that's on the Yes Network that went off on Evan Neal? How many times have you seen these guys just completely like blow up because they just want clicks? Bro, rage in New York media gets you views. Rage gets you views in New York media. And it doesn't matter if the Giants are good. They're going to bash you for something. They're going to bash you for something.
Then to finally get to the question, which was, do I think DJ is going to be back this year? Or do I think he should be back this year?
Where the hell is
this is what I'll say. This is what I'll say. I stand with what I said the past couple of weeks. If it is a detriment to his life and he's not fully healing and it's still a problem with his neck, he should sit out for as long as possible, maybe even the entire year. Like, no funny story, no BS, no Tyrod Taylor thing. Even if Tyrod was trash and we were trash and we looked better with Daniel, this is his 2nd neck injury. Sit him out for as long as he needs to be sit out. And you guys might think I'm joking, but I'm like, yo, if he needs to retire, let him retire. Don't end up like Andrew Luck, where this man is literally in so much pain that he had to be forced to retire. Don't let him end up like so many other quarterbacks that, have life-altering things happen to them.
Yeah.
Now, of course, that's the worst-case scenario. And hopefully the worst-case scenario doesn't happen. We never want that. In a normal case scenario, do I think he will return this year? Yeah. I don't think if the injury isn't that bad, he's going to be out for the entire year. And like I said earlier, as soon as he gets healthy enough, they're going to put him in because we're paying him too much money not to be put in. It's as simple as that.
And here's the thing. It's not like we're in a position to compete this year. It's not like we're on a playoff run, right? So there's no need to really risk Daniel Jones unless he's like, I'm a dog. I want to go out there and go fight out there with my brothers and stuff like that. Like, there's no reason to put DJ at risk out there, and you have to start thinking about him as a human being, like as a person, and his well-being after his football life. And bro, this is not me like not want. I want Daniel Jones on the field. You guys know I like Daniel Jones. I do. Bro. I root for this guy. Like, DJ, please show us you're a franchise guy, please, bro. I remember I overreacted in 2021 in that Saints game. I was like, Daniel. Bro, you could be a franchise quarterback. You just played like one, bro. That Saints game was awesome, and he played like a franchise quarterback. And I drank the Kool-Aid, and I want, bro. I root for Daniel Jones. This is not me not wanting him on the field, but if you are not 110% ready to play, then don't. Like, there's no reason to play out there. This season is a wash. And it's not like we're tanking this season, but I'm not going to risk your injury. And we have Tyrod Taylor, who literally looks better than Daniel Jones in this offense right now. Not a better quarterback, but for this offense, he is the better option. So why on earth will we throw DJ back out there? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Yo, Yvette, I saw that DM about like some football scene or whatever. I don't know if you're trying to show like yourself like in a football uniform or whatever. Bro, it's mad blurry. There's like no circling. Hey, that's me. How am I supposed to know if that's you, bro? That picture was so like dim. I couldn't even barely see the freaking the numbers. Were you trying to show yourself? Like if you're trying
Bro,
to show yourself,
he showed you, but not me. I'll keep that in mind.
bro, dude, like didn't circle like, hey, this is me, bro. There's like 6 players there. Am I supposed to identify which one is you? Bro, gonna be talking with his fingers by 32. Stop it. Stop it. I don't even know why I read that. It's great that he gets 2 sacks against against Seattle team, missing half their line, and a sack against Washington's miserable line. If he shows out in that Dallas game, he's on the way up. I assume this is about Kayvon Thibodeau. Yeah, Thibodeau. Listen here. Why
I
are
don't
we?
disagree. I agree with you, but if
I get it.
it really seems like we're trying to discredit everything he's doing at the same time.
Yeah, like why are we just pointing the finger at Kayvon Thibodeau when literally the first 3 weeks of the season there were no sacks and no turnovers on this team? Like,
And
Kayvon
not only
Thibodeau was the
that,
first one to get a sack on the team.
not only that, we've said this before, and then going to what Carl Banks brought up on that show before they cut him off, you also got to realize, what the scheme is. And Carl obviously didn't get a chance to explain that.
Yeah, man, don't even get me started on those freaking clowns. But Yvette's asked if you play high school football.
Yeah. BK Tech. But I've said this before, I always rode the bench. I was never good enough to see the field, unfortunately.
Man. It's all right,
Backup
man.
running back and tight end.
Both of us running back. Oh shit! This man was Brandon Jacobs out there, bro. They should have threw my man in there, bro. He would have killed everybody, bro. He would have killed everybody.
I don't got the speed, Brian.
Bro,
I got no type. I have no type of speed, bro.
Bro,
I have no type of speed,
you would have
bro.
lined up. You would have lined up under center, like you would have been the running back single back formation. I would have been the guy in the gun, bro. We would be yin and yang, bro. We would be Ahmad Bradshaw and Brendan Jacobs, bro. Yo, for real. KB, if I show you, you'll realize Kush, if I show you, you'll realize I showed it to KB first. Why I showed it to KB first. In fact,
do you know how to read?
I will. Hold on. Bro, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
Let's go ahead, because we're getting towards the end of it anyway. Shout out for everybody sticking with us throughout the entire show. I guess now for the last 2 topics, we'll talk about the trade deadline like you brought up, and then talk about the upcoming game against the Jets.
Jerome Bettis.
That's actually a great comparison.
Why you don't want to be Brendan Jacobs, bro? He's a beast.
I don't got that build, bro.
You got the Bettis build?
I'm definitely more of a Bettis build.
The bus.
The bus, 100%, man.
Yeah, I'm built like if you you want to like Donald Pumphrey. You know who that is? Donald Pumphrey?
No.
Bro, dude, like the skinniest football player, NFL football player in like history. But
Ron Dane is a good one.
Ron Dane. So the trade deadline, you think the Giants are gonna be sellers or buyers? Or not at all, and not like they're gonna
I
be
think not at all. Purely because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't realize how soon the deadline was,
yeah.
and there's been like no type of
I thought
rumbling
it was
of
in
anything,
November. I thought it was in November, to be honest with you.
bro. There's literally been no rumbling of anything to
Yeah.
indicate either side. I think they're just gonna roll with what they got, and
Here's
they can't be buyers. The
right.
only thing you're
I
gonna be
wouldn't.
buying is if for some reason a star old lineman is on the trading block, which there's none.
Right.
And even if you're sellers, it's like this team is already such a young team, KB, which is why I joked earlier. If one certain position or two is changed, that we're legitimately still a contender. I believe that it's because it's so young. Like the only person you'd want to trade would probably be a Leo Williams, but nobody wants to trade for him. Other than that, we have young talent across the board that you want to keep as your building
Yeah.
blocks.
Yeah. And that's absolutely right. I don't want to trade. I don't want to go out there and trade like these guys that are young that can be something for this defense, for this team, and like for like a sixth rounder, seventh round, or a swap pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously our rookies are not going to be touched, but I don't want to go out there and trade a guy like Jason Pinnock, right? I kind of want him to stick around. I quite frankly, I really don't want to trade Xavier McKinney either. As much as I really don't like his play this season, I really don't think we're going to get anything back worth trading Xavier McKinney. I know Sal on Twitter, not the Sal we've been talking about, like the radio host. I was talking about Sal on Twitter, who is not a content creator. He's a big guy of like wanting to sell, and trying to gain a lot of draft picks. And I understand that sentiment. I completely do. But I maybe this is me being selfish. I just want to see like good Giants play at least. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to go out there and get rid of Xavier McKinney and Jason Pinnock and Saquon Barkley and these
and I
guys.
will say, take what Brian Dable said with a grain of salt, bro. I know he said Saquon's not up for trade. I don't want nobody in this entire fandom to be surprised if somehow Saquon gets traded.
Yeah,
I will be devastated. You guys know he's my favorite player.
And here's the thing:
But don't trust what a coach says.
If the Giants are sellers, I don't think it's gonna be a big sell. Like I think it's gonna be small stuff. It's just to try to get a pick or two because we do only have like 5 picks in this draft coming up.
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Don't be surprised if they send Evan Neal somewhere for a first.
For a first?
Like
bro,
not this year's first, like a year or two down the line first.
I think the most you're getting for Evan Neal is a third. I think it's the most you're gonna get. I think the most you get is a third, and it'll be a team that's like, hey, I can develop him. But
don't be surprised if they trade him for a third and like another backup lineman.
I wouldn't be surprised, but if they could dump him. But the number one person I can see them selling is Adoree'. That is because really we don't necessarily need Adoree'. He's not part of the future moving forward. His contract is up. And I could see them getting like a good 4th rounder for him. He's still a serviceable cornerback. He's a good cornerback. He could play as a number 1 if you need him to, but I think he's really a solid number 2 corner. And I think we can get good value for him. But he's literally the only and Leonard Williams too. But I really don't want to see a world without Dex and Leonard Williams on the field at the same time because, bro, every time those guys are off the field, it's a touchdown. Like always on the ground.
Yep, that's the thing.
So
and it's like the only the reason Leonard Williams would be a selling point is that even though he's still an integral part of his team, he's just getting paid too much, and he's
Paris Campbell's a good one. Paris Campbell's a good one. He hasn't been getting playing time. He's been like I don't know what the hell happened to
I was a little excited for him, KB, because of the way that a lot of people, not just you, a lot of people on YouTube, on Twitter, and training camp said we're like, yo, he's really a good fit for this offense, to the scheme. Yeah. But it's like, yeah, we should have saw this coming, bro. We really should have. He hasn't really done anything at all in his career.
Yeah, and then like every time he catches the ball, he's supposed to be the yak king and like freaking yards after the catch guy, and he just can't make yards after the catch. Like if that's what you're here to do, and you don't do that, like I'm sorry. So I would trade him, and a team will probably take him. A team that needs some receiver help, depth receiver help, would probably take him, and he would be a serviceable guy there. And we'll probably pick up a 6th rounder or something like that for that. And so I wouldn't mind.
Let's get to if you're willing, because I do gotta go soon.
Yeah,
let's get to Jets. So last week I predicted a win. Thank God we got it. I'm predicting a win again, man. I am. Because Tyrod Taylor is better than Zach Wilson. And if
True.
we can get to
But that
Zach Wilson,
defense.
that is true. But if we can get to this is gonna be a defensive game, bro.
I think it's
This
gonna be a
is
very close
this is
game.
gonna be very similar to when we played the Patriots in terms of low
Oh
scoring.
my god.
In terms
Oh
of low
my
scoring.
god.
Except this one would be entertaining. The Patriots one will not be. It
That
would
one's
just be
gonna
hard
put
to
me to
watch.
sleep, bro. That one's gonna put me
Um,
to sleep.
but I think that but KB, you said it right. If we can get to Zach Wilson, and I think we can, we're gonna be in good straits. The unfortunate part is they could 100% get to Tyrod Taylor. So it
Mhm.
comes down to, you know what, Tyrod is better than Zach. That's not a controversial opinion or anything.
Right.
And I think our weapons, I think obviously they have the better receiver, but overall, I think our weapons are not that far off. So I'm gonna go with us. I will go with us. Although you know what, KB, they could beat us just off of having a better special teams alone. You know what I'm saying? One fluke play does not make a good special teams.
Right.
But I'll say we win 12-9.
Bro, I was gonna say something very close to that. I was gonna be like 13-6 or something like that. That's what I was gonna say. But yeah,
Because
uh-huh.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say that Radical brings up a good point. We could probably stop the passing game in terms of stopping the quarterback, but I don't know about stopping the running game. That is a great point. Go ahead, KB.
Yeah, I feel like this is like you mentioned, it's going to be a very close defensive game because both defense are playing pretty well. I would have to give the edge of defense to the Jets, however, but
They have a better defense. I don't think that's another
and
controversial opinion either.
they have played tough with the best of them out there, all right? They beat the Eagles. They almost beat the
So have
Chiefs.
we. So have we. Let's not forget, for the first time since the 1980s, we held the Buffalo Bills scoreless through 3 quarters, and this is the best
Mm.
offense the Buffalo Bills ever had in their history.
In fact, the Giants are in the past 2 games have not allowed a point in the first half. These are 2 halves. I mean, in the first half of these past 2 games, the Giants have allowed 0 points. So, and if it wasn't for the muff punt by Sterling Shepard in the Washington game, I'm pretty sure it would have been through 3 quarters in both games. Both games would have been in 3 quarters. 0 points allowed. So the Jets, I feel like as far the offense goes, I don't know. I think the Jets offensively are better than the Giants. I think they're just a better
Yeah.
team than the Giants. I
Yeah,
do
no,
think
they are.
but
Yeah.
I think we can squeeze. I really do think we can squeeze out a win
That's
because like you said,
where literally the difference of a quarterback comes in, man.
yeah, and I think Tyrod Taylor does have the edge there. So I'm gonna say the Giants. I'm gonna say the Giants win this one, but it's gonna be very close, man. It could be like 13-10, 13-10, 13-6. I'm gonna say 13-10. I'm gonna say it's really close.
The reason I've said 12-9, by the way, is because I ain't got any of these teams putting up a touchdown.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Get those kickers in fantasy. But yeah, that's about it. That's all I got.
I mean, yeah, no, that's it. Great point by Radical once again to bring up the run game. But I do think we could do a very admirable job, and I do think we could hold this offense to something like 9 points, which sounds crazy. But it can happen. It just now comes down to our offense and specifically to Rod Taylor being able to make a couple of right plays that could get us in field goal position. Honestly, getting a field goal on any drive for this game is going to be considered a win because I have confidence in our defense to be able to hold the other team to also a field goal. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But we will be back next week on Cush's channel. We'll be there to discuss the Jets game and also
Trade
to talk
deadline.
about the trade deadline. And
Even whatever happens around the NFL, which
yeah, that'd be cool.
maybe is just me, but there hasn't really been much talks of anything. Of course, I hate the Eagles, and I'm just so jealous of Howie Roseman because he continues to make that team better. They got Kevin Byard.
Bro.
I don't know how. The Eagles are actually the most super team ever in NFL history. Like you don't see super teams in the NFL, but they are 100% one.
I would slow down with super team, but yeah.
No, I think is there any other team you could think of in NFL history that has this assortment of amazing players and great players
and constantly retrieving. I
and
understand
they're constantly getting
when
better
I think
too.
of super team, I think of dynasty because I don't think they're like.
No, I think they're two different things. I think a super team and dynasty are two different
dynasty
things.
is more like longevity, right?
Yeah, dynasty is longevity and being able to win
They
championships.
are, but like, are they
consistently.
like? I mean, I could see them losing to a Chiefs.
For
team
example,
again.
I know you're not necessarily a big NBA guy, but a great example that's recently a team that definitely was not a dynasty, but was 100% a super team, the Nets, when they had KD,
Nets,
Kyrie, and
yeah.
Harden.
Agreed. All right, yeah, I could see that. I don't know about maybe super team but I think the Chiefs in prior years were like the best super team in history. I think
No, I wouldn't call them a super
because
team.
they were like unstoppable on offense, bro. Like,
Yeah,
just
they
like
were unstoppable, but they weren't a super team in the sense of they had all of these great stars. They had some great stars with a great supporting cast and great
right
coaching. We're talking about Jalen Hurts, who's a top 10 QB.
and offense and
AJ Brown, who looks at some points like a top 10, top 5 wide receiver. Devontae Smith. You know, they got DeAndre Swift. Their defensive line is completely stacked at every
it's
position.
like a damn Avengers movie, bro. It's like all the heroes.
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel you.
Their cornerback room is completely stacked, and now they
James
just got another
Bradbury, I
safety,
still
bro.
miss you, James
They have
Bradbury.
another safety. That's what I mean by super team.
I still miss James Bradbury. But that is all we got for you guys today. We will see you guys next week.